It's October, which you know what that means. It's time for the spooky season. One of my favorite holidays of the year. Halloween. The month of October. Fully Halloween. Spookiness every single day. You know what's also spooky? The Nintendo Switch. And you know what's spooky about the Nintendo Switch? It has horror games. Yes. Oh my gosh, this flashlight's so bright. There is spooky games on the Nintendo Switch, and I want to talk to you guys about my top 10 favorite Halloween/horror games on the Nintendo Switch that you can play right now on the Switch. You can buy them, all that good stuff. I want to talk to you my favorite horror games on the Switch, all in one video. Now that I've done that intro, I'm done with this darkness. Let's turn this back on. Yeah, well, oh, look, normal Minato Max background. Let's get right into this video. Okay, coming in number 10 is honestly, it's one of those games that doesn't look well on the Switch, but is very cool to have on the Switch. That game is World War Z. Now, I am a major Left 4 Dead fan. It is honestly one of my favorite games on my PC. The unfortunate thing about Left 4 Dead 2 is I have no friends to play it with. I do, but then they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to play it. So, unfortunately, I don't get to play Left 4 Dead 2 because no one wants to play it with me. And when I bought World War Z, for some reason, I thought that was going to change something. And still, I have no friends to play Left 4 Dead on the Switch. Anyways, this is the closest thing I have to Left 4 Dead being on the Switch. And it runs great on the Switch. Graphically doesn't look well, but considering everything that this game has on the Switch, it's pretty impressive that they could put this on the Switch, because you have so many things on the screen at once. It was pretty impressive. I was quite impressed with this port, and I think I've seen this game go for like 20 bucks. So honestly, with everything in consideration, World War Z, for being a basically Left 4 Dead for the Switch, that's literally the only way to have a Left 4 Dead on the Switch. If you put all these things into perspective, I think it's definitely worth $20. I wouldn't pay, I think when it came out that was $50. Definitely don't pay $50. That game's worth $20. I think it's definitely worth the $20 whenever it gets on sale for that. Not only that, it's a great horror game to have on the Switch because it's a different type of gameplay that you don't see often. Now it's starting to actually become a regular thing. But this didn't used to be your typical gameplay, 4-player zombie-like game, cooperative multiplayer online. This was honestly a really fun game, and I hope one day, now that Valve is doing stuff for the Switch, Left 4 Dead 2, please? Come on, I would love that game. Honestly, if Left 4 Dead 2 ever gets to go on the Switch, this is going in the trash. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's going in the trash.
Number 9.
So, I have come up with a list that I feel ranges for pretty much every type of gamer out there. So, this next game could be cheating in terms of the contest because it's in a horror world, but not really scary. You don't find yourself in scary parts of the game, just it's a scary world that you're in. And when I make these type of lists, I like to have a range of variety. I try my best every time I do top 10 videos to make a variety of games, because I see a lot of people putting the same type of games on the list. So I think this is kind of cheating, but to me, it's kind of a horror game for everything that's happening in it. Like, it doesn't scare you, but it's in a scary world. I'm talking about Shimagante Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. Now, this is a long game. This is a game that is an RPG. It is set within a world that is a horror-themed world, I like to call it, as there is some very questionable things that happen in this game that also I think I feel like tries to scare you, but it's not intentionally to scare you because the game doesn't want to be a horror game. But it's one of those games that I feel should be on this list because there's some horror fans out there that I think would actually like to play an RPG, and I think this is going to be the closest thing you have to that. And it's also a long game, which a lot of these horror games, they're very short. A lot of horror games nowadays are less than 10 hours. you have a 100+ hour game right in your hand that you can consider horror and can't consider horror. I know a lot of the comments are going to make fun of me for putting this in a top 10 horror games list, but I don't know, guys. I feel like if you consider what I was looking at it from the story point of view of Nocturne, I feel like it wants you to think that you're in a scary world because of, I mean, you're kind of in a end of the world type of situation is the way I look at that game. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but Shimagante Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered is number 9 on this list. Coming in number 8 is going to be a series. I don't feel right just selecting one game off the series because I'm not well knowledgeable enough with the series. I haven't played enough games in this series, and I feel like there's so many games within this series on the Nintendo Switch that you have so many options. I feel it is only fair to just put the title of the series, and that's Resident Evil. Now, I'm holding Revelations, the collection, because this is the only Resident Evil game that I own on the Switch, but you have pretty much every Resident Evil game on the Switch. You have Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 0, you got the Resident Evil 2 remake about to come out on the Switch via the cloud, okay, I don't know what happened right there. Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. You have like so many Resident Evil games on the Switch. I've played Resident Evil 4 on the Oculus VR headset, and I feel like that's honestly a pretty scary game. I know I've played Revelations 1, but I honestly don't remember the game very well. However, you have a lot of options with the Resident Evil series, and one of my favorite things about the Resident Evil series when it comes to the Nintendo Switch is you can find these games for less than 20 bucks. And you know how I always try to look out for my viewers. I try to get you guys affordable games out there that are actually good. This is one of those series that you can get the whole series on sale very often for like less than $10. I know I've seen Resident Evil 4 on the eShop for like $8. So yeah, you have a lot of options. If I was to pick one, I would probably say Resident Evil 4 just because of my knowledge on that, of being able to play the first couple hours of that on the VR headset. I could say that there were some terrifying moments in that game. Same with the Resident Evil 2 remake. I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. However, that's a Cloud Edition game that's coming to the Switch, so I don't know how you guys are going to feel about that. Okay, coming in number 7. I told you that we have something for everyone here. And that number 6 game has to be Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, I have talked about how I feel that this game right here is the most beautiful looking game on the Switch. I think either Luigi's Mansion 3 or Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the best looking Nintendo Switch game. And this is a Nintendo game set in a horror world that attempts to scare you, but again, you gotta look at it as a kid's perspective. This is a kid's horror game, so it's not gonna do the greatest job of attempting to scare a teenager or an adult, but this is great for the whole family. This is great for everyone. This is honestly a really fun game that I hope to one day finish. It's just one of those games that had so much coming out at once that I never got to finish this game. But it is honestly a really fun game and is great for the whole horror theme that we got going in this video. And also, if you want your kid to play a horror game but not get too scared playing a horror game, this is the way to go. I don't even know if you would really get scared playing Luigi's Mansion 3 because if there are scary moments, they make them funny, I feel like. I think that is perfect if you look at it from everything that we just talked about. If you want a kid to play a horror game, if you want to have fun. Like, it's a great game to play if you're just an adult. I had a lot of fun with this game. It is a very fun game. The problem is it's always $60, so it kind of ruins our whole affordable games that we were going with in like the first 4 games that we talked about. So take it as it is, but that is my number 7 in this top 10 best scary/horror Nintendo Switch games. This is another game that could be cheating. However, I played this as a kid. Well, I say as a kid, I was more of a teenager. I genuinely got freaked out playing this game, but this is also one of my first games that I really branched myself out there as a gamer, so that probably is why I got nervous and scared playing this at some parts of the game. I don't really think this game was trying to scare you, but it is like Shimagante Tensei 3, you're in a definitely scary world. Now, coming in number 6 has to be Doom. First off, this is one of the best third-party Switch games out there in terms of ports. This game runs amazing and graphically looks really good. Like, I'm impressed with Doom. Graphically, I feel like with the first game, I mean, there's definitely a difference if you compare the two right in front of you, but if you're playing it in handheld and don't know, like, I feel like you don't notice if you're playing it in handheld. Me personally, that's how I felt with Doom Eternal. Obviously, if you put this in docked mode, I feel like you notice all these changes and all of that, but for what Doom is, it is so fun. I had a lot of fun playing Doom on the Nintendo Switch, and I feel like it goes along with the whole horror themed in this list that we're going for, because there is moments in this that you will get jump scared. It's a shooter game. It focuses on the gore, because there is a lot of gore here, because you're literally killing demons. You are stuck in Mars killing demons. You can't tell me that that doesn't sound scary. However, this is one of those games that also is a $60 game that doesn't go on sale all the time. When it does go on sale, we're looking at a $30 game. And that's pretty high considering Doom came out in 2016. The Switch version came out in 2017. But I feel like that's pretty high for a game that came out 6 years ago that is not even a first-party Nintendo game. So a lot to consider if you're looking at this as an affordable games list, but if you want to have a lot of fun playing a horror game, Doom's the way to go. It's probably the most fun game that we're going to talk about tonight.
Number 5.
Okay, now this one we just recently played on my Twitch. We streamed the whole game, and this was a roller coaster, I must say. There was a lot of moments in this game where I was like, that just happened. That game that I'm talking about is Layers of Fear. This game has continuous moments where you're questioning yourself that I'm surprised they could put in a video game. Like, there was some scary moments in this game. However, from a story point of view, this game kept you interested throughout the whole chapters of the game. The jump scares are definitely there. But from a story point of view, looking into this game deep, this has a very interesting and unique story that I will always remember in terms of having fun with it on stream. I think I had so much more fun with it also because I was just streaming it, because I got to see the audience's reaction while I was getting my own reaction to the game. It just mixed well. I feel like horror games, one of the things I love about horror games is being able to play them with friends. I feel like the whole horror genre is perfect with people. And when I got to stream this game, I had so much fun with this game. And I think playing it with people, obviously it's a one-player game, but having people in the room, it just makes horror games so much more fun. I think this is honestly a must-own game for the Switch in terms of a horror point of view. If you can get a physical copy of it, good luck, because this is like one of the most expensive limited run Switch games. But it's out digitally on the Switch for like 15 bucks, so definitely worth your money. Coming in number 4 is another multiplayer game that I have had so much fun with the Nintendo Switch version. A lot of people will tell you that the Nintendo Switch version of this game sucks. I beg to differ. I think it looks graphically awful, but runs pretty impressive considering what this game is on other platforms and what it looks like. I think it's pretty incredible. But that game is Dead by Daylight. This game is probably the ultimate horror crossover. You have things like Freddy Krueger in the game. You have Resident Evil in the game. You have Michael Myers in the game. You have Saw, the characters from Saw and maps from Saw in it. You used to have Stranger Things in the game. There is so much content in this game from other worlds, and Dead by Daylight also has its own unique characters in the game. It's a 4-player online game where there's 5 players, 4 survivors, 1 killer, and this is the ultimate teamwork game where you can figure out if you guys can be a team or can't be a team. I think I've realized that if I was in the situation that these characters are in when you're playing a game of this, I realized that I would be screwed because me and my friends, we don't get along in this game. So I realized we would be screwed if we were all stuck in this scenario. However, this game is super fun. The Switch version is crossplay, so if you buy this, you can play with your PlayStation, Xbox, PC players, all that good stuff. And this is a game that typically goes on sale on the Switch very frequently. I wouldn't say there's very scary moments. I mean, there's sometimes I was like, ah, but it's more of the online. It's the atmosphere. You're focused on surviving the round. It's a very fun multiplayer game that is definitely worth the money. However, I will say, when you're playing the Switch version, you're going to see a graphical difference from other platforms. That is the only thing that you should know going into the Dead by Daylight Nintendo Switch port of the game. I personally loved it. There is a difference, but I looked at it as long as the game has a good frame rate, I'm good. Because it's 30 FPS, I believe it's locked. I think that's very impressive. It sacrifices graphics for a good frame rate. And it has everything that the other platforms have. It has crossplay. I think there's a lot of pros to the Switch version that people don't consider. Coming in number 3 is Dying Light. Dying Light, I genuinely believe, is probably one of, if not the best Nintendo Switch port out there, as it looks amazing. It's like Doom. It looks amazing. You can tell that there was a lot of time put into this Nintendo Switch port, and it has all the DLC and has had moments where I've gotten jump scared because the story takes you places that you don't expect. Also, if you want to play as the voice actor of Sonic in a zombie apocalypse type world that you get to parkour and everything, to me that sounds incredible, hearing the voice of Sonic. Like, you can literally tell that that's Sonic that you're playing as. Obviously it's not Sonic, but it's the voice actor, Roger Craig Smith, and you hear Sonic. You hear Sonic. So I like to say that I'm playing Sonic Zombies into an actual video game. Dying Light on the Switch. Beautiful game. Runs amazing. Storyline's amazing. Scariness is there. Horrorness is there. Everything about this game is great. It is a recent Switch title, so you're not going to see it on sale very often. The cheapest I've seen Dying Light on the Switch, I think, is $35 is the cheapest I've seen it. So you're probably not going to see a good price drop until probably Black Friday of this year, because by the time Black Friday comes out, the game's been out for 1 year. However, I genuinely believe that it is worth it. I know I talked about how Doom was out for so long and how the other versions are cheap but the Switch version's so high, but I feel like Dying Light deserves all the money because you're getting all the DLC with it for really no extra cost, all in one cartridge, which a lot of these Switch developers struggle to put everything on one cartridge. So the team over there at Warner Brothers, they did such a great job, and that is honestly such a good Switch port. Loved it to death. Amazing game. Definitely pick it up. Coming in number 2 is a game series that is very special to me. Just in general, the whole franchise is very special to me because I would not really... I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for this series, just being honest. The Walking Dead games. The Telltale Walking Dead games. The whole series is on Nintendo Switch, except the Michonne game, which nobody cared about the Michonne game. I liked it, but it's not important. The whole series is on Nintendo Switch. First off, limited run, why don't I have a physical copy of the first season of Walking Dead? We only have the 4th and final season as a physical copy of the game. Change that, please. Let's get all the seasons on the Switch physically. Walking Dead is on the Nintendo Switch. This was one of my most requested Nintendo Switch games to come to the platform because Telltale games being portable, it just sounds perfect. And the Walking Dead Season 1 game is honestly one of my favorite games of all time. This game's storyline is absolutely amazing from a character development standpoint, from choices standpoint. I think the whole Telltale system out there where you can make your choices is absolutely incredible and is one of my funnest thing that I've had with this game series. This series is very special to me as I've seen this game. I've not played it when it released, but I played Season 2 when it released, or like Episode 5 when it released. I got to experience this whole series from somewhat early to the end, and not to mention Melissa Hutchison, the voice actor of Clementine. She gave me a signed poster that's right over there. You can't see it, but it's Season 1. Absolutely cherished that moment. Anyways, the Walking Dead series, such a special game series to me, such a special comic book to me, such a special TV show to me. It's very important to me that you guys play this game because the storyline, the voice lines, everything about it, it's amazing. It is such a good game. Like, listen, I'm telling you, this is such a good game. I don't know how to describe this to you, but this is such a good game. I mean, it's just, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job of explaining how great this game is. I need to shut up because I can go on about this game probably for a whole hour. But The Walking Dead, it's like 15 bucks on the Switch. It's worth every penny. And it's only digital, so that kind of sucks. But play this game. I don't want to go into detail of the game. I'm trying to avoid spoilers. But if you've not been spoiled for that game, you need to play it now because it's crazy. The number one Nintendo Switch game. What's it gonna be? I feel like if you know me, it's very obvious what I'm about to say. However, I might shock you. I don't know. This game series actually holds another special heart to me, a special spot in my heart because of I have so many memories with these games. From birthday parties, slumber parties, all that type of things. I have had special moments with this game. The game that I'm talking about, the number one, this is honestly the most scary game I have ever played. I'm sure there's other scary games out here, but out of all the games I've played on the Switch and PlayStation, PC, Xbox, this game series is the most scary games I have ever played. Coming in number one is the Outlast series. Now, I hold a physical copy of Outlast 2 because I honestly prefer 1. Outlast 1 is the game you guys should buy, but I don't have a physical copy of Outlast 1 because Outlast 1 is like $200 physically on the Switch. If you guys have an Outlast 1 physical copy that you want to sell, my email is bananamax@gmail.com. I really want to own that game physically on the Switch. But I'll have to take 2 for now. But Outlast 2 is the physical copy. Just imagine this is Outlast 1 that we're talking about. Outlast 1 is the game that I always brought with me when I had a birthday party that we were all staying over and gaming. I would put Outlast on the screen. I'll never forget how we had a whole squad of people that was so invested into Outlast 1 that we actually started Outlast 1 at like 1 a.m. and actually beat Outlast 1 at like 6 a.m. We beat the whole game in one sitting, and all of us was invested. We had like 14 people in the room. We were like, oh my gosh, that just happened. I don't want to spoil some details, but there are some crazy jump scaring moments in this game. There are some crazy things that I didn't even know you could do in a video game. The DLC in Outlast 1, the Whistleblower DLC, absolutely crazy. And Outlast 2 is also crazy. The whole series is absolutely crazy, and I'm so happy that it's on Nintendo Switch. Do yourself a favor and buy Outlast 1 because it is a very special game. Very special game. It is the most scariest game on the Nintendo Switch, and I know it's going to go on sale as it's been out for years on the Switch. I don't know what the price is actually. I think it's like a $15 game. It's worth every penny. It should be a $60 game because that's how great it is. Guys, that is my top 10 list. We had a lot of games here. I want to know from you, what is your favorite game that we talked about? What is the games that we didn't talk about that you think I should have put in the top 10? And did I cheat a little bit with having games like Doom and Shimagante Tensei Nocturne in the top 10 list? Let me know all that in the comments down below, guys. I'm definitely interested. Until then, hold on. Where's my flashlight? Until then, oh my gosh, this is so bright. Until then, everyone, maybe we'll do this again next year. I don't know. Actually, there's not enough horror games to do another top 10 list. Anyways, guys, I've been talking for way too much. I want to know everything that you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out everything that's in the description, Twitch, Instagram, podcast, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in the next video. I feel like I'm summoning demons in my house right now. This is probably not the smartest thing to be doing right now with everything happening around the house.